One of the questions I got asked the most after posting how I started a stationery business video is, how do you make a profit printing your own stationery? So in this video, we're going to get into the 4 things that helped me be able to make a profit, and I'm going to tell you guys how I actually price my products as well. So the first thing that I want to talk about is ink. I've used the Canon Craft printer for a long time before getting a big laser printer. More on that later. The Canon printer is an inkjet printer, and Canon ink is so expensive, which is why I use generic ink. The brand that I buy is literally 5 times cheaper than Canon ink, and the quality is just as good. The only downside is that using generic ink voids the warranty of the printer, so if something goes wrong or breaks in the printer, you're going to have to pay for the repair out of your own pocket. But even so, with all the money I saved buying generic ink, I've been able to afford repairs very easily. The second thing that helped me make a profit was switching to a laser printer. It's usually much cheaper per print than using an ink printer. But you're probably thinking, isn't the printer itself super expensive? Well, actually, I bought this laser printer second-hand at a quarter of the price of a new one. It was still quite an investment, but one that I don't regret at all. I'm also on a service plan with the company that sold me the printer, which saves me a lot of time and money. How it works is I only pay them for the pages I print, and whenever there's an issue with the printer or I'm out of toner, the company comes and repairs the printer and replaces the toner at no extra cost. Now, you don't necessarily need a laser printer as big as this one, but for the type of things that I wanted to print, this one was the best fit for me. But you can of course get a smaller size laser printer. It's just difficult to find an affordable one that can print thick cardstock, if that is what you want to do. The third thing that made me be able to make a profit was finding a local paper distributor. A paper distributor is a company that gets paper directly from the paper mill where the paper is made. The paper distributor then receives the paper in huge sheets and then cuts it to the size that you require. Getting your paper from a paper distributor is so much cheaper than buying it in a shop or on Amazon because it cuts out all the middlemen. If you feel like you're getting value from this video, please let me know by hitting the like button. The fourth thing that helped me make a profit is using my time efficiently. We've all heard the saying, time is money. Basically, what that means is time is valuable, and therefore it's better to do things as quickly as possible. If I spend 3 hours to make a notebook, where I could have spent 2 hours if I worked more efficiently, I make that product more time expensive, and I could have used that extra hour to make another product. So I'm losing an hour where I could have made more money. I hope that makes sense. One way that I try to use my time efficiently is by doing similar tasks together. For example, if I have 3 notebooks that need to be made, I print all the pages of all 3 notebooks at once, make all 3 covers at the same time, punch all the holes, and then bind all 3 books, rather than doing all those processes one book at a time. Now that we've covered the 4 things that helped me have a profitable business, I also want to explain to you guys how I price my products, because pricing obviously has a big influence on how much profit you make. There are lots of different ways of pricing your products. A lot of people take into consideration how much they'd like to be paid per hour, and then multiply that amount by the amount of hours it takes to make the product. But for me, that doesn't make as much sense if I'm making my products in batches. So instead, I keep it simple by just taking the cost of materials and multiplying that by 3. This covers my costs and gives me enough profit to justify the time I've spent on making the product. Sometimes I'll tweak the price a bit if I feel like it doesn't completely justify the time I've spent. I might also tweak the price to be closer to competitors and make it make sense for the client. It's always a good idea to compare your prices to your competitors, and it's okay to be more expensive than competitors if your product gives more value. For example, if your product is handmade, like my books are, people are willing to pay a higher price because they know that more time and effort has gone into the product. Now that you know how to have a profitable stationery business, go ahead and watch this video about how I created my first profitable planner. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more content like this.